Number 6 in the most controversial moments in sports history, the 1981 underarm cricket incident.
Still gets me mad. Still gets me mad.
You familiar with this one?
No, I mean, who's not familiar with the 1981 underarm cricket incident? Okay, and yes, this is a football podcast. Simms Unbuttoned. What up? My man Ahmed is here. How you doing? Everything good? I don't know if I said it right there.
You got it.
Okay, good. I'm still self-conscious about it, all right? For one, but wow, this is a little thing we did. You can check this out on YouTube/NBC Sports. We did top controversies in sports in lieu of the Kentucky Derby last weekend. And one of the top 9 sports controversies in the history of sports was the underarmed cricket incident of 1981. And let me tell you, if you don't know a lot about this, then you're not a sports fan. So we had some fun with that. I don't know how the hell that even made the list, but it made the list.
You were not on board with that. But I'm telling you, if you go back and look at it, New Zealand, Australia, some guy bowled it underarm.
Who underarmed it? Was it Australia?
Yeah.
It makes me think different of Australians altogether now, all because of that. How could they do that? You underarm and don't let the team score. That's just not fair.
You got to check it out. That's over on our YouTube account. Also, doing some throwing motions are on the YouTube account.
Yeah, doing stuff. The fans had asked, because I did a little thing on social a few weeks ago about different quarterbacks, how they grip the football. I didn't do Tom Brady, which was absolutely stupid of me not to do Tom Brady. And people, of course, were asking about that. So we got in, and if you go on YouTube, youtube.com/NBC Sports, or even some of my social stuff, you'll see the Brady grip stuff. But this is something I'm going to continue to try to do here throughout the offseason. There's not a lot of news and stuff. I'm going to get into, some unique quarterback-type videos, certain mechanics that jump out to me, or flaws, good things, bad things, or just weird quirks quarterbacks have in general. So that's something to watch out for. Don't forget our new schedule. That's for all the listeners out there. From here on out, it's Tuesday, Thursday podcast. It's the off-season schedule. It's official.
Tuesday from here until week 1, or maybe
maybe right around training camp until when football gets real again, to where we go, okay, there is plenty to talk about, and we need the extra podcast day. And then we do have my father later, Big Phil, a.k.a. Big coming on today.
Nice.
This is a Thursday podcast. I know that. So to warn everybody out there, he is going to be part of the Tuesday podcast going ahead. Forward is the word I was looking for. But yes, he'll be a Tuesday podcast, usual guest there. Had to do it on Thursday this week because he had some scheduling conflicts. So I think that hits it all. So now we're getting to the people.
We'll talk to him, and he'll be part of today's podcast, which is all about the listeners and the viewers and the questions. Ask me anything. Have you done those before?
I have done them.
We've done mailbag where they ask, but this is like anything.
Yeah, this is anything. And I love nothing. Oh, come on. I mean, we're not Simms Unbuttoned because we don't ask anything. Whoa, there goes my mic.
Yeah.
Oh, peel back the curtain. You know what? This thing isn't real anyways.
Hear you? How can we still hear you right now?
Oh, I don't know. It's magic.
What's going on?
Oh, yeah, I love it. Actually, I love that this went down.
Right there. Just keep it.
It's actually really fitting to me.
Okay, I can hear you again.
Good.
Before we get into the AMA, real quick, there is some news, and we're going to point one out because you called this. Your Nostra Simsus.
Oh, thank you. The Oracle.
Ziggy Ansah to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
That's a deal.
Yeah, I mean, this is not some special proclamation by me before we start patting me on the back too much here. This was a team that was rumored in the running all along. I just thought it made a lot of sense. The Seattle Seahawks, come on, they're a defensive-oriented team. Pete Carroll's an ex-defensive coordinator. That's what they're all about. They've always been about waves of defensive linemen coming after you. That's what's made the Seahawks so dangerous. So always thought they were in the market for this position. They had a little money to spend. I thought it would be between, them, the Buffalo Bills. I wondered if the Oakland Raiders or even the Indianapolis Colts, who have extra money to throw around, might get involved in the conversation. But not shocked he took the Seahawks. If I was Ansah, it would have been the Seahawks or the Bills. I think that would have set him up for, a big payday later on because those defenses are very good. He's not going to get double teamed or get shown extra attention all the time. I'll say this one thing that just jumps out to me about the curiosity of this. I talked to a lot of people about this guy throughout the offseason. He's a phenomenal football player, but he has been banged up 2 out of the last 4 years. And most teams I talked to or people I talked to, it sounded like it was going to be more of, we're going to bring him in around the start of training camp, reevaluate the shoulder, see where he is at that point, and then we'll try to make a play for him or an offer or whatever it may be. So I guess I was a little surprised that Seattle made the aggressive play for him right now, but it was obviously the player they wanted.
Yeah.
And I don't know, if I had to connect dots or think of what happened there, I would think they probably got scared of some of the other teams who might be in pursuit, who have more salary cap space than they do, and they maybe were scared if it came down to early August and all of a sudden 3 teams need to bid for Ziggy Ansah to be a starting defense end, that they might get outbid by one of these teams who have a ton of money left over. That would be my only 2 cents as far as why it happened right now instead of waiting to see where the shoulder is.
Sometimes you have to deal with uncertainty because once there's more certainty, then all of a sudden other teams are like, oh, okay, he's healthy, good. We'll make
a run.
Why wouldn't we take him?
Exactly right.
So you think he makes them significantly better if healthy?
I do, yeah. I mean, Ahmed, he's a baller when he's healthy. I mean, he's the type of talent that, can be in that conversation for leading the league in sacks, but even more than what he does in the pass rush, he's really a complete defense end. He's awesome against the run, too. So that's where teams love him. There's no weakness to his game. You don't have to formulate certain things on the defensive run game because you go, oh, well, he's not good at stopping these run plays. We got to find other ways to help him there. You don't have to worry about that with Ansah.
I'm bummed. Lions fan. Grew up in Michigan.
Yeah, it's a shame. But I understand them having to move on too. They can't pay him everything.
They've beefed up.
Yeah.
Beefed up on that.
Yeah, you got Trey Flowers.
Real quick before we get into the AMA as well, Champions League. You're a soccer guy.
I do. I pay attention a little bit, definitely.
Liverpool in the Champions League final.
Right.
Big comeback versus Barcelona. Tottenham.
Amazing.
Lucas Moura with the hat trick. Last one scored in extra time against Ajax.
Yeah.
So they're into the Champions League final. So good stories for both those
really
English teams in the Premier League as well.
Yep.
And Steve Nash, who does the broadcast for Bleacher Report.
Right.
He is a Tottenham fan.
Yeah.
And was so affected by the outcome of the Tottenham win, he cried.
Yeah.
He kind of choked up on the broadcast.
Yeah, I saw the little clip of that. I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's funny. I don't know if it's funny. I mean, I'm not surprised. I'm a guy that gets emotional like that.
I was going to ask you that.
I can get there, or I can put myself in his shoes as far as, things to cry at or shed a tear.
When's the last sporting event? What was the last sporting event that you cried watching?
Ooh, the last sporting event I cry. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. The Super Bowl every year gets me close to crying, especially.
Really?
Yes, it does.
Because football's over. You're like, no.
Well, I am sad. No, I think it's about, gosh, look at these guys living out their dreams right here, playing in the Super Bowl. This is amazing. Every year they show guys, like, it's why the national anthem's going on and the tears coming out. And I always get emotional then because that was a dream of mine to play in a Super Bowl. So I always like, man, what is it like sitting there right then? But I'm always happy to see people fulfill their lifelong dreams or whatever it is. So I get emotional with that. Dude, I don't know what happened to me. Like 32, 33 years old. I became like emotional dad, where anytime a movie that even like has any soft spot to it,
you feel it.
I break out in tears, or I have to fight it back. I don't know what the hell happened to me, but it's happened, and I'm that guy now.
Like honestly, I've got a 4-year-old and a 3-year-old. Kids movies will do that. Kids movies are designed to do that, I think, to the parents.
Oh.
Get us a little choked up. Like I saw Coco? Coco was that's an emotion. Did you see that
I don't
movie?
think I saw Coco, but you don't have to explain yourself to me.
It's emotional.
Yeah, I mean.
Inside Out is another one that was.
Without a doubt. Inside Out. I mean, we were just talking about a few. I mean, there's a lot where it get me. I mean, the one that I get made fun of by the most for my friends. I mean, all right, first of all, Field of Dreams at the end.
Well, that one.
I know. That one I don't get made fun of. I'm going to cry every time. I mean, Dad, do you want to have a catch? What?
Right.
Oh, gosh, that's
right. How do you not? Right?
I'm not in with his dad.
If you don't cry, you're dead inside.
Yeah. Armageddon gets me. That's the one that gets my friends like to bust me on that all the time. Because when they get off the spaceship and the one guy goes over to the daughter, may I have permission to shake the hand of the daughter of the bravest man I ever met? I lose it every time.
I can see that, though. I don't think you're alone. I don't think you're alone.
I don't know. A lot of people make fun of me for that one. I don't know why.
Interesting. That's okay. You're in touch with your emotions.
I guess I am.
Should we get into it? The AMA at this moment?
Okay,
I think we have 27.
We got Annie on the jib.
We have
what
27
up,
questions.
Shake it, say hey, say yes,
on the jib.
up and down. It was a weak shake today, but good job.
The first one, if you're watching on YouTube, you get to see that shake.
Yeah.
The first one comes from the Derek Quinn. What's with the hate on the Rams. Yeah, they had that bad Super Bowl, but you and Florio seem really down on them for one game. And Sean McVay did come out recently and say that maybe he watched too much game tape and he was over-prepared for the whole thing. But why are you down on him somewhat? Why are you down on Goff, who played well in the NFC Championship?
Yep, he did.
Why are you down on them
You know, I mean, listen, generally, I've probably been a guy that's been down on Goff from get-go. I mean, there's definitely been good, and hey, he's proven he can win some big-time football games, played really good in the NFC Championship game. I get that. Do I have questions about him ever being a top 10 quarterback in football? Yes, I do. And I don't think those things have been answered yet. You know, I don't look at it as I'm hating on the Rams. I really like the Rams. I like Sean McVay. I like Jared Goff, the guy and the person, too. And there's things he does that I go, oh, wow, he's got a chance to be something special in the NFL. There's a lot of things I like. My hate, per se, about the Rams is not necessarily about, hating on them or saying they're not a good football team. I just go, gosh, history tells us it's hard to replicate 2 Super Bowl wins or 2 Super Bowl runs in a row, let alone the team that comes off the losing side of the Super Bowl. You don't see very losing Super Bowl teams come back and be back in that game very often, right? I mean, here in recent history, I'm just trying to go off the top of my head right now. I have no preparation for this, but the Patriots are the only team I can think about in the last 10 to 15 years who went back-to-back after losing the first one and then coming back and actually winning the second one, right? Am I right about that? Or they did it 3 years ago. They won, they lost, and then they won. So that's unbelievable that they did that. But
you're right.
I'm
you
just
don't
playing
often
that.
see the team, Buffalo Bills back in the day when they kept going to the Super Bowl.
Yes, it's very rare. So that's really I'm just playing the law of averages. That's why I'm down. I know they're talented.
It's a
shorter
on them
off
getting
season.
back to the point where they were last year.
Right. I expect them to be in the playoffs. I think the NFC West is going to be better, too. The 49ers, my buddy Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch, I think that team is, on the verge of being that playoff caliber football team. And I think the Seahawks got better, too. So I think those are the reasons I just don't necessarily put the stamp on the Rams and go, you're going back to the Super Bowl. You're the best team in the NFC.
I think that's fair.
Okay, thank you.
Capsy91.
What up, Capsy91?
If you could create the perfect pass rusher, what would he look like? What is the ideal size, skill set, in your opinion? Is there a perfect size, or do you just max out all the Madden ratings like Calais Campbell? Make the perfect guy, strongest, fastest guy, biggest guy ever.
I get that, but even Calais Campbell's got some issues rushing the passer. He doesn't have great bend coming around the edge if he was a defensive end or having to do that, kind of the stuff we talked about in the draft process, being able to, dip that inside shoulder and really turn the corner while you're in that position. Also, with having a 315-pound guy push you at the same time, I mean, that's phenomenal skill or talent level there. Okay, here.
Height.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's 6'8", Calais Campbell.
Would you go your ideal, you can choose whatever one, every ability.
6'3".
6'3".
6'3". Okay. I would go about 6'3". Ideally, I think my perfect pass rusher, I'd want him around this day, 268, 270 pounds, somewhere in that range, okay? And I really want a body that's similar to a Lawrence Taylor or a Khalil Mack, which is, me. I mean, ass and legs, okay?
Yep.
They got to have a set on them below there. Powerful base for explosion first step, okay? Being able to go speed to power. Oh, gosh, I'm not going to be able to turn the corner. Let me put my foot in the ground and let me just put my hands into this offensive tackle's chest and drive him back into the quarterback. Those are the two things I look at more than not. But, I think if I had to do a player comparison about how I would want my guys to look, Khalil Mack is the guy that jumps to my mind as far as a perfect pass rusher. Maybe a little bit more length and size than Khalil Mack if I was going to be ideal Madden perfect player type of thing, with maybe a little bit longer arm length, like 34.5-inch length arm, something like that. But generally speaking, it is the Khalil Mack mold, I think, that I would look for.
They both hit Lawrence Taylor, Khalil Mack, your perfect height.
Okay.
They're both 6'3".
Right.
So you nailed that.
Yes, right.
You said 270 playing now.
Yeah, they're a little lighter.
Khalil Mack is 250. 250.
Right.
Lawrence Taylor played at 235.
Yeah, that's when he came out in the draft, but I know that wasn't very long. Because, I mean, we could ask my dad when he's on later. My dad says he saw Lawrence run 4.5 on grass at 253. So,
wow.
Yeah, so, that was, I think, college skinny Lawrence Taylor. It only took him like 5 meals to get up to 250, so I don't think it was much. But, yeah, generally there, like I thought about Reggie White. Yeah. Reggie White is different kind of rush defensive end. He's not necessarily your speed guy. He's almost like a defensive tackle / defensive end. But, yeah, he wasn't overly tall. I would say he was around 6'4.5", 6'5", but he was a 290. That's what's amazing about Reggie White. I mean, Reggie White's special. He's ahead of his time, and maybe even ahead of his time now.
And he had that club for like 6 games that weekend, right?
But we should. That's another one we could ask my dad. I mean, because there's nobody he sacked more than Phil Simms.
Really?
Reggie White sacked Phil Simms more than anybody.
Couldn't have been a pleasant experience.
No, it was not.
Kind of related. This is from Taryn Caravella.
What up, Taryn?
Would you rather have a fantastic pass rush but below average cover unit, or fantastic coverage unit but a below average pass rush?
Oh, that is a very good question.
That's tough, right?
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, both, of course.
Neither. You go neither.
Yeah, I know. Both are extremely important. Gosh, that is.
What could you get by with? What could you win more games with?
Honestly, I think if you gave me either one right now, I might go with the better pass coverage guy than the pass rush. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the first thing that comes to my mind, the team that led the NFL in sacks this year was the 31st defense in football. That was the Kansas City Chiefs. Tell me how that pass rush worked, okay? Yeah. Your pass rush just can't get home all game long. And it's not, especially as the game goes on, those guys get tired. There's only so many times you can just all out sprint 100 miles per hour, push a 320-pound guy around, and just think that intensity is going to last game, 70th play of the game. It's still going to be there.
You think you can sustain pass coverage throughout a whole game where maybe you can't sustain that?
I do. And I think you can, for the pass rush too, you can find ways to manipulate the pass rush too, to go, okay, we're not that talented, but we can run some stunts up front, some certain creative blitzes to make up for the lack that we don't have the great pass rush. And when you have a great secondary, you can take chances on some of those blitzes and things there. I don't know if I would have answered this question the same way 3 or 4 years ago, but I think the last few years with what I've seen from New England and teams like Jacksonville, just to see how coverage is on the back end, it's very important. And the difference between the best pass rushing teams in football and just the middle of the pack is just not that great to me, to where, I favor the coverage guys more.
Interesting. Yeah. I would not have.
I know. I did not think I was going to go there either way. That was a really good question.
Question from Ira Faznarmi. This is back on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Top 5 route runners in the league right now. So who would you put in your top 5?
Okay.
It's your Mount Rushmore plus 1.
My Mount Rushmore plus 1. Mount Rushmore's.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see how I'd go here. The 2 guys jump out to me right away with route running, okay? One is Keenan Allen for the Los Angeles Chargers.
Ooh, okay.
Phenomenal route runner. I mean, that's where he's made his money. He's not going to beat people with speed and things like that. It's his ability to lean and bend and be able to stick his foot in the ground and just come out of a break and not lose any speed. So Keenan Allen.
Okay.
Julian Edelman for the New England Patriots.
Wow.
I mean, off the charts good. I mean, Julian Edelman, again, if you saw him in person, he's so much quicker in person than TV gives him credit for. So I'd go him there. Antonio Brown for the Oakland Raiders. Antonio Brown, I mean, he's the man, but he's the man because he can run any route underneath the sun and run it at a very high level. Odell Beckham Jr., I'm going to put in the top route running conversation. That's why Antonio Brown and Odell Beckham Jr. are so awesome. Because not only do they have this freakish physical ability as far as speed and ability to jump up and catch 50-50 balls, but their route running is of a guy who's like a well-schooled, I'm not that talented, I need to perfect every route I run.
Right.
They can do all of those type of things. So I look at those 2 and just go, damn, I don't care that they're superstars and everybody thinks they might be in this answer. They are worthy of being in this answer. So those 2 are amazing. And then I think if I had to go with a 5th, and there's a few names that have come to mind.
Stephon Diggs, Thielen.
This is it. It comes out and
DeAndre Hopkins.
It's the 2 Minnesota guys and Brandon Cooks out with the LA Rams.
Oh.
That would be the 3. So if you maybe have a top 5, it's down to those last 3 for one of those spots.
Okay.
And my gosh. I think I'd go with Brandon Cooks, but it's a really close one. That's no disrespect to my man Stephon Diggs or Adam Thielen, because they are awesome route runners as well. Cooks is special, though. Cooks can do everything. And because he's a little bit of a smaller guy, is able to redirect out of some of those change of direction routes maybe better than a guy like Thielen or Diggs.
And do you have a clear number one, or are they all pretty close?
Gosh, it's all pretty close. I guess if I had to give a guy, I think Keenan Allen's route running is pretty special. Okay. I do, yes. I think I would give him one, but damn, it's close because all those guys have a lot of the similar attributes.
Conley Rose, talking about quarterbacks here. Joe Flacco, Ben Roethlisberger, Aaron Rodgers. Am I crazy to think that they will all throw for over 4,000 yards and all finish in the top 10 in MVP voting this year?
Okay, I don't think you're crazy with Roethlisberger or Aaron Rodgers. I think that's a very real possibility. I mean, I would almost guarantee that Big Ben throws for over 4,000 yards. He might get close to 5,000 again.
If he can stay healthy.
Yeah, if he can stay healthy, right. Aaron Rodgers, I do think you're going to see a jump in stats this year because, one, I think he's got better offensive minds around him. There's going to be some creativity in the offense. I think you might actually see a run game in Green Bay for the first time in about 9 years. So I think that will help his bottom line stats at the end of the day. Now, Joe Flacco's the one I'll say I'm going to throw caution into the wind there. I still believe in Joe Flacco. They got some new pieces in the offensive line. It's a new offensive coordinator. All things I like, but I don't know if I'm going to sit here and just go, oh, he's throwing for 4,000 yards because of that. And I don't know if they have enough talent in the pass game or people around him yet. You know, Emmanuel Sanders' health and where he's at, coming off of a torn Achilles at wide receiver, that's going to be paramount to Joe Flacco's stats and some of the offensive explosive plays that come in the passing game. So I'll say no on Flacco, but the other two I'll say spot on. I like that.
Is Joe Flacco the starter?
Yeah, I think he will be. I do. I do. I think for the majority of this year he will, unless it just totally fell apart and all of a sudden they're 2-8 or they're like 2-6, 2-7. Then, but I don't expect that happening because I think Denver's defense is still pretty real, and I think Elway did a pretty good job of kind of reconfiguring that offensive line and getting a good OC and a good coaching staff in there.
Okay, this one is from a roll. And this is where the AMA comes in. This is Ask Me Anything, and so sometimes it's uncomfortable. Some of the questions can be uncomfortable.
Not for me. Nothing's uncomfortable for me. It doesn't. But once you throw an interception or a pick six in front of 70,000 people, there's very few things that can embarrass me or make me feel uncomfortable.
Are you familiar with the game F, Marry, Kill? That game where you can kill one person, you marry one person.
Oh, right.
And then you
I got you. Yes.
Another person.
Yes. You F them.
Yes.
Can you say the word or no?
I cannot.
You can't say that. It's not in your broadcasting journalism school.
It's not in my
fornication under consent of king.
Yeah, I can't.
That word?
Tom Brady, Odell Beckham, Aaron Rodgers. Wow, interesting. That's very tough.
All right, so wait, it's marry. Explain this to me. Marry, kill.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot to it. Or F.
Or F them. Okay, okay. So I am. I am venturing down that lane here today.
It's an AMA. They ask it. We had to do it. We had to do it.
Okay.
And it can be just you respect them that much that you know that you.
That I want to sleep with them and have sex with them?
It doesn't need to
I respect this guy's spirals so much. I want to get in bed with him and spoon him and just have fun. Okay.
It doesn't need to be necessarily, sexual. It can just be, you respect him that much.
Gosh, okay. Mary.
We should have skipped this one.
This is a tough one. I'm really flustered, actually. Maybe I'll take that back. I can be embarrassed. Okay, who am I going to marry out of Brady, Rodgers, and Odell Beckham Jr. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where to go with this.
Right?
I think I'm going to marry. I'm going to marry Tom Brady.
Maybe save this for your dad.
Don't save this with my dad. He won't even know how to answer. I'm going to marry Tom Brady.
Okay, you marry?
He's handsome. He's rich. He seems to be worldly. I feel like I could get along with him. He's going to be, then because he's marrying me, he's divorcing Giselle, so he's got extra money, right? So I'm living the life. I'm marrying Tom.
That's good.
Okay. Now, to murder.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't want to murder any of these.
I know, right? Yeah.
I don't know if I can kill A-Rod or Odell Beckham
Yeah, why
Jr.
would you want to do that? But
Gosh.
maybe because you've met DeAndre Hopkins so much lately and you have that respect for him that would be the only way to get him to elevate to the top receiver in the game is if Odell Beckham was no longer around.
Gosh.
I gave you an out right there if you just wanted to.
No, there is no out here. There's no way to do this. I'm actually thinking of maybe I shouldn't marry. Maybe I should have killed Brady instead of married him.
Okay,
I don't know where to go.
You can switch it. You can switch it.
But I don't really want want to kill him either. I think he's a smart marrying choice on this one. All right. So I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go kill Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And I'm going to apparently sleep with Odell Beckham Jr. Okay? That's where I'm going here.
We have it on record. You know, we could go.
I killed Aaron Rodgers because of my lust for him is so great. I just love him so much that it's like
the ones you love
it was
the
a
most.
jealousy murder.
Yes.
I was like, you're so great and awesome. I have to kill you. And Odell's cool and got style, and I don't even know. I can't believe I'm talking about this. I take this back. I can be embarrassed.
We won't. Yeah, that one was it. Okay, we'll ask your dad that one too. Okay, Draft Room Pod.
Yeah.
This one we get back on track.
There's no getting back on track. I'm still thinking this in my head. I'm scarred.
Can you break down the Mike Leach air raid? This seems so tame.
Followed by murder, kill, and now we'll go to the air raid.
Can we break it down to some X's and O's? Okay, can you break down the Mike Leach air raid, and if you see Cliff being able to make it work with the talent that he has?
Yeah, I do think Cliff will be able to make it work, first of all. I mean, I just think Cliff is he's been around enough and had enough of time in the NFL to understand that game, I think, where he can bring different aspects to the air raid offense. The air raid offense, if I could break it down, you know, a lot like the run and shoot was back in the day. It's about shotgun. It's about attacking you a million different ways just through the pass game. There's no run game involved. Really, the run game is created through the short passing game and wide receiver screens and that. And the air raid is, of course, about being aggressive on offense in general. I mean, gosh, Leach, when I was in college and he was at Texas Tech with Cliff Kingsbury and Wes Welker, I mean, fourth down, it didn't matter if it was fourth or first down. I don't think it changed his thought process. He was going to be aggressive. He was going to continue to push forward with passing the ball and find unique concepts there. But I think generally that's how I kind of look at the air raid offense, and a passing offense that has a little bit of everything. And then has, the ability to go quick, put pressure on you with its pace, and then the ability to, replicate the run game through screen games in the pass game is really kind of the beauty of the air raid offense, I guess, if I had to sum it up.
So is it better to have the slot type, the Julian Edelman?
Gotta have
shifty. I mean, how does Larry Fitzgerald fit into that whole mix?
Yeah, no, Larry Fitzgerald, I think, can do some of that. And he will be asked to do some of that. But I think that's a big reason you saw them draft the kid Andy Isabella from Massachusetts.
Sure.
He is a guy that is like a Wes Welker, a Julian Edelman, really fast, really quick. And I think he will be a guy that certainly has a huge role as far as the little jerk option routes. Their second-round pick last year, Christian Kirk out of Texas A&M, he's a similar guy, too, who can do some of that stuff. So I think they have a multitude of guys that can fill that role, which is always a good thing because then you can't peg one of them for that specific role.
Okay. Victorsi.
What up, Victorsi?
We all know that quarterbacks, you got to be smart to be a quarterback. You got to be football smart to be quarterback.
Right.
Victorsi asks, who is the dumbest great quarterback of all time?
Ooh.
So who wasn't maybe as bright as the other quarterbacks out there. Football savant, but maybe wasn't wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed. Okay,
yeah, that's a good one. Dumbest great quarterback of all time. I want to put Phil Simms up there in that category, okay? He might be in the running there. Let me just think about some other ones, just great quarterbacks of all time. Vinny Testaverde, I'll throw him at there.
Sure.
Had a little bit of a meat-headedness to him a little bit. Had a reputation for throwing dumb interceptions, especially early on in his career.
Oh.
So I would throw him in that mix, okay? Yeah, I mean, Dan Marino, I know he didn't kill the Wonderlic, but again, that's where, like, brains and quarterbacks, I do think it's overrated a little bit. As long as you're not, like, scoring 700 on your SATs or 600 or a single-digit Wonderlic test score.
Right.
I mean, anything really above 15 at quarterback position, I think a lot of teams would be like, okay, that's good. If he shows that he has got good football IQ, that's good enough there.
Well, look at Fitzpatrick, right? A Harvard guy, probably one of the smartest guys in the NFL, still makes some plays that you scratch your head
I mean, has thrown some of the dumbest interceptions in football over the last 5 years. Exactly right. That was a great example by you. No.
Thank you.
I think that's exactly right. So you're right. It doesn't always mean about your college education or you scored a 40 on the Wonderlic. Great.
Yeah.
I could show you a lot of really smart quarterbacks who've thrown a lot of really dumb interceptions. So those would be ones that jump out to me. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, hey, the way Big Ben handles himself sometimes, too, I would say he might be in that category, too. He's not dumb on the field again, but he's done some dumb crap and said some dumb crap.
Could be a Hall of Famer. Could be a Hall of Famer, but...
I mean, Antonio's got to run... Oh, hey.
So now, right in the middle of our AMA, we have our special guest.
Speaking of dumb, great quarterbacks, here's my father. Hey, Dad.
Oh, great transition. Thank you, son. Great to talk to you. You're such a good person.
I'm doing like, we're doing Ask Me Anything. So, you know, the fans can ask you whatever they want. And they asked me who was, you know, some of the dumbest great quarterbacks of all time.
Okay, so, that's a question I just would never venture into an answer.
Well, that's why I threw your name in there first. Just
okay, that's good.
That's good. To lessen the blow.
As I would say, and say all the time, I threw interceptions and everything, and Parcells said to me as I'm walking up the sideline once, Simms, can I ask you a question? Are you watching the same game I'm watching? And I would just go, okay, yeah, I know it was dumb. And, you know, as a rookie, I would throw just interceptions in the, you know, between two defenders, no chance to throw it. And, you know, of course, you're a rookie, you get excuses. Watching the film, they said, now, why did you make this throw? And I said, because I thought I could get it in there. And they go, okay. They let you go because you're a rookie.
Right.
But after that, of course, that tune changed the second year.
Yeah.
But so... All right, let me hear a name you've thrown out there. I didn't get to hear the conversation.
I threw you out there. I threw Dan Marino because he didn't have, like, the greatest Wonderlic score. And, you know, I tried to qualify all these, that these aren't dumb people. These are just, you know, just because they got a lower Wonderlic score doesn't mean they got great football. It doesn't mean they don't have great football IQ and things like that.
That's right.
I threw him out there.
Well, Big Ben.
I threw Big Ben out there just from the sheer fact that Big Ben said and done a lot of dumb crap off the field, so he deserves to be in that category.
Yeah, but that doesn't make him a dumb quarterback.
I know. Yes, I don't think I know. Well, I threw, like, you know, like I said, I threw Vinny Testaverde in that category. So, yeah, where they might be perceived as not the smartest guys in the world, yeah, I don't think any of those guys were dumb quarterbacks, really.
Well, okay.
If they were dumb at quarterback, they were dumb, you know, and they're not one of the greats of all time. Yeah. So then they were just dumb, and then they're just dumb on the field, dumb off the field, and they're just all around dumb. You know what I mean?
Maybe, excuse me, maybe off the air I might say a few things in private.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't want to see my name on the back of the post saying so-and-so is dumbass quarterback.
Yeah, I hear you.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
that's
got
it. And you know, of course, that would be a question I would never answer in public, maybe even in private. But, hey, this is what you guys do.
Son with different standards.
You know, one of the funniest things ever, and Thomas Henderson, am I right, said about Terry Bradshaw before they played the Steelers in the Super Bowl, the Cowboys.
Can't spell cat.
And he just said I could spot him as C and an A, and he still couldn't spell cat. And, you know, of course, that followed Terry Bradshaw for a while, you know, only 4 Super Bowls and MVP, I think, in 2 of them.
Right.
And Terry hey, look.
He's laughing all the way to the bank.
I've ever seen or been around.
Right.
And I just saw him the other day doing a commercial with a bathtub. He's sitting in it playing with rubber ducks and bubbles everywhere. And I started laughing going, man, he is just taking this thing to the house.
It's the brand.
It's unbelievable. He really has.
Well, he should be on the list. Terry Bradshaw should be on the list. Yes, again, he was brilliant on the football field, but hey, he's like what I would call like a rockhead. He says dumb things. He says great, funny jokes. It's not an insult. It's just to say you're not
that is not. You know, Terry, of course, I've met him many times over the years.
He's awesome.
He's awesome. And I was once given a speech up in Rochester, New York. This is a true story. Him and I are the 2 main speakers. He has them build, there's a stage. He wants a little walkway out into the audience, so they build it for him. It was a probably 700-800 people there. And he was supposed to speak for 25 minutes, and I was speaking for 25 minutes. So I'm sitting to the guy that organized it, the president. Terry's up there, his shirt's unbuttoned to his navel, sweating, telling stories. You know, I was under, you know, talking about the sweaty ass of the center, and it's hilarious.
Right.
I mean, I'm crying, laughing because the stories are hilarious. And the president goes to me, "Are you okay if you don't talk? Because we're way over the time limit for the both of you." I go, "No, I'm good with that." You know, so I went up there, got paid, and never said a word.
That's
but
awesome.
Bradshaw he arguably is one of the best after-dinner speakers I've ever heard. So there you go.
You're right.
So he's the dumbest smart son bitch we've ever seen. Okay,
Right.
there you go.
There you go.
Good. I like
I like
it.
that.
Okay, we've alienated enough people here, but we've also complimented them along the way. Here's one I think, Phil, that it would be interesting to hear your take on. This one comes from Hits Josh, and he says, out of the rookie quarterbacks from last year, who do you see taking the biggest step forward? What are the realistic expectations for these guys in year number 2? So you got those rookie quarterbacks.
Yep.
Had a lot of them last year. One just got traded in Josh Rosen.
Right.
You're right.
What do you see from them? How big a step do you see some of them taking in year 2?
Okay, that's a really good question. You know, I get this a lot. So we want to go the next step or to the next level.
Yeah.
Can he raise his game?
Can he raise his game?
Yeah, we got all this. We got to do it. You know, hey, you know, is he gonna make that next?
Does he have it, Dad? Does he have it?
Oh, you know, I'm gonna draft him because he has it. I had a general manager say that once to me on the sideline of a practice, and you know, the guy he was talking about, I can't even remember who it was. He was so bad. He was in college as a senior, and I go, what? You think he has magic? Is that what? And the general manager kind of, I said, man, you know, you can draft 100 guys like that, and 99 of them are not going to make it.
Right.
You know, he just has a way about winning. And then I go, well, yeah, he's on the best team in college football.
It's his teammates,
right.
yeah.
And
right.
he gave me that old thing, magic, and he has it. And I just go, okay, good luck.
Yeah.
You know, and of course, for that one, I happen to be right. But who can make the big step this year?
Yeah.
You know, first off, many things. Baker Mayfield, last year, he played a lot of good games, made some mistakes here and there. And people were excited when they played exciting football and the game was close and they still lost.
Yeah.
Well, he'll be judged entirely differently this year. If they lose a close game, they're going to go back and look at the mistake or two he made that cost them the game.
Right.
So as you've heard me say many times, what about second-year quarterbacks? What do we say?
Yeah, the honeymoon's over.
It's over, baby. Here we go. Now you're going to be judged differently. We're going to talk about them differently. High expectations for Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, all those things. But, you know, to answer your question, it would be, I look at it, I would say Josh Allen is the first one that really jumps out at me. And then I think Sam Darnold has a chance to really improve because he's got a quarterback coach, offensive coordinator, and Adam Gase, who really knows how to use the quarterback. And even when they're having a bad day, he'll turn it into a pretty good day for you statistically and manage the game for you in a way that it just doesn't put you in harm. Kind of like New England in a way with their quarterbacks, what they've done with Tom Brady over the years. You know, they're smart. They give him a lot of easy throws. Then every once in a while they ask him to, hey, rip one in there for us. You know, we need that. So that those two jump out. And, of course, Lamar Jackson needs, I think, to make a really big step forward.
Yep.
And I think his throwing has got to get a lot better. And, Christopher, we talked about this.
Yeah.
He was in college. I thought he was a little slower when I saw him on the NFL field. Not just because the players are faster, but I thought he physically was slower.
Yeah.
And remember this, quarterbacks will never train as hard as they do in the pros as they did in college.
Yeah.
Because college, it's get up at 5 and work out. Do this. Lift weights. Run. Do some more running. Let's practice. Do that. You know, it's an unbelievable training cycle when you're in college.
Yep.
You will never repeat that in the pros. So Lamar Jackson, I think, physically throwing the ball, if they're going to be who they want to be, he's really going to have to make, I think, a big improvement. And Josh Allen, I would just say this. Hey, Josh, what did I tell you when you went to Tampa for your first rookie minicamp?
I don't know. No,
I said, hey,
what?
look, son,
Yeah.
you're going to learn to really appreciate a 2-yard completion.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Josh Allen, I'd be happy with a 10-yard completion.
Right.
You know, come on.
Doesn't always have to be a 70-yard bomb.
Oh,
is what
my
you're
gosh.
saying.
I mean, he was the greatest downfield incomplete throw I've ever watched. I mean, it was like must-watch TV. But he's got to really learn to go catch a 2-yard pass, a 3-yard pass, and whatever, be in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6, things like that, which they didn't do a very good job of last year for many reasons. Rookie quarterback, new coordinator, bad offensive line, and all those other things. So, you know, that's a little capsule. I do say this.
I'm with you, though. I would have gone Josh Allen, too, as my number 1. But go ahead. What were you going to say?
My last thing is just, you know, Josh Rosen.
Yeah, let's talk about it. That's what I wanted to ask you about. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, people ask me, oh, you know, his stock went from wherever it was to like, oh, he's not even worth a second-round pick. You know, if I was looking for a quarterback, I wouldn't have hesitated to go get him as a second-round pick. He's a great system quarterback. When you watch him with the Arizona Cardinals, I hope he's not in a worse situation this year down in Miami than he was with Arizona.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues on that team. You're right.
Man, I looked at that offensive line, and I just go, wow, this is – but I thought just judging him, I thought he did a good job. When he had time, he made great throws.
Yes.
And he's accurate as can be, throws a great ball. And maybe the best thing that happened to him, he was forced to move around more last year than he ever did in college.
Right.
Because he played behind the worst offensive line in the NFL. And he moved around more, which I think, you know, we talk about it all the time. I think quarterbacks need to do it more in the league. Just real quick sidebar, I made a film for a camp.
Yeah.
And I'm watching NFL guys, all the good guys.
Right.
And it was amazing how few throws where they drop back, set, and throw the ball.
Right.
It was, you know, it's just like, damn, is anybody ever just going to drop back and throw an in cut, an out cut, or whatever? Everything was move a little, shift in the pocket, move out, throw the ball. It was, the percentages were much greater than I expected.
Right.
So you got to move to play quarterback now in the NFL.
Yep. All right. Good point.
All right. Good. I'm sorry to keep it so long.
No, that was good.
You like that? You think that Josh Rosen has a chance to?
I mean, I thought it was a brilliant move by the Miami Dolphins. I'm with Dad. I mean, you know, it's not about whether Josh Rosen was worth their first-round pick. He was worth their first-round pick. It's the fact that everybody knew they were taking Kyler Murray. Yep. That lowers your value of the trade right away. So I think it's a great situation for Rosen. You know, it's going to be tough, but I think it's great in Miami to go, oh, the 63rd pick, we traded away to see if we have maybe the franchise guy for the next, 5, 8 years, however long it may be. Mm-hmm. And then maybe if it does work out, they don't have to use any of their assets because they got a lot of picks in next year's draft to maybe they don't have to put it towards a quarterback and they can build the rest of their football team. So I think that's why it's great for the Miami Dolphins. I'm with Dad on Rosen all the way. I like Rosen. It's not an indictment on him. But there's questions on that Miami team overall and the talent around him, and I hope it's not so bad or less than that he can't show exactly what he is as a player.
Can you predict
well, the good thing is, I think he'll have a system that's going to give him a chance.
Yeah, right.
That'll be really interesting to see how much they carry down from New England. Chad O'Shea, right, the offensive coordinator, just to see what he does. And, look, New England does a lot of creative things, and it works, but, when it comes down to it, they're good.
Yeah.
And so when you take good with creativity, you get Super Bowl victories.
Right.
And, so he can be as creative as he wants down there. If you can't do the simple things like, that little, just the everyday NFL plays, if you can't do those, it's hard to do the complimentary stuff. So that'll be interesting. But the other thing you say, and everybody goes on, they got a one-year experiment with him, and they don't like it. They can go, hey, let's be careful about talking about guys coming out of college like, oh, my God, they're going to save the franchise.
Yeah, right.
I'm not sure about that either.
Yeah, you're not sold on tanking for Tua yet or Jake Fromm. That conversation, because that's been out there. Dad, I'm with you. I don't know if I can sit here today, and I haven't studied the guy, but with Tua Tagovailoa I can never Tua. Let's just say Tua.
Yeah, Tua.
Either way,
Alabama's quarterback.
I can't sit here and go, I look at him and go, that's the first pick of the draft. And again, I haven't studied him, and he impressed me more on crossover film throughout the draft process than I thought. But I just don't see that type of talent. And maybe I'm wrong. And again, he's a young kid and he can improve this next year. And maybe I am wrong and he ends up becoming the first guy. But the guy that jumped out to me was the guy at Oregon, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
He is seriously the guy. But I just don't like how it's always, the quarterback on the best team. You know, I'll challenge the Georgia Jake Fromm. People are putting him in the conversation for, these are the guys that have the best Vegas odds of being drafted in the first round. I don't see Jake Fromm as a first-round talent at all at this point. I really, just because he's on Georgia and they're winning games. Hey, this just in, Georgia's got NFL players all over the field. So it's not just about one guy, nor is it like that way with Alabama too. So I just saying buyer beware. And a lot of people who are not qualified to be making these statements are making these statements right now to where we can't just believe them because, they're an anchor on some sports highlight video show.
Yeah, that's right. I think great points. The thing about Tua, he's an extremely accurate thrower, short and long. I love that about him.
Yeah.
But he's not Kyler Murray.
Right.
He's not going to move around even close to that. And I did watch the Alabama spring game. Get a life, Phil. But I watched it, and, he was still limping around.
Yeah.
He was still limping around. Now, his brother looked pretty good playing, and they got a redshirt freshman, I can't think of his name, last year lit up their spring game, and I'll tell you, he's a big-looking kid, and he threw the ball great. And I just go, man, Alabama, they're set at quarterback. If Tua goes down, they talk about, they lost last year's guy. Shoot, these backup quarterbacks they got down there, they've got them ready to go. I know it's a spring game, but I can judge talent when I see it.
Yeah, we know that.
I saw the talent, and I go, man, these are Division I starting quarterbacks behind Tua down there.
Well,
one of them being his brother.
Well, yeah, I mean, and to what Dad's saying, and I know we'll move off this subject either way, but that's right. Another, hey, well, who was the quarterback that Alabama benched? The kid who transferred, Jalen Hurts, or Jalen Hurts, right?
Jalen Hurts. Oh, yeah, sure.
When people were first talking about benching him for Tua, you're going to bench a guy that's been 24-2 in his college career? Okay, yeah, that sounds great when you say it like that. But does it sound as great when I go, there's 100 quarterbacks you could have put at Alabama, and I promise you they would have been 24-2 just the same. So let's not always put the quarterback on the pedestal about, they're winning, so the quarterback's got to be great. No, it's freaking Alabama. They're going to win with just about anybody at quarterback. And
the same with Georgia. That's right.
Right.
And you made a great point. Ahmed, how about this point?
Yeah.
And everybody goes, this guy, he's just not a winner. And I go, okay, Patrick Mahomes, how do you do down there in Texas Tech?
That's right.
Yeah, he went. What did he go? 5-7.
5-7. John Elway went
3-8
his senior year, Dad.
What's that?
John Elway went 3-8 his last year at Stanford. Tell me how that worked out.
Did he really? He went 3-8 his senior year.
His last year, I'm pretty sure if somebody.
I think his last year. I thought they had to win the last game of the year. The band game, was that one of his? It might have been his last game.
I think it was. They're looking it up right now, so we might be calling on.
I think if they won that game, they might have gone to his only bowl game of his career.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. You might have to call bullshit. Either way, I know they weren't a national power that wasn't winning all the time.
I'm not putting my name in any of that. I don't know what we did my senior year.
It wasn't good, I don't think.
I think we were 2-6-2 or 2-8 or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you retired at top 20 in wins all time when you retired.
Yeah, so I don't know. All that. Again, Josh Rosen, I talked to somebody yesterday about him. I said, I'm just judging him, okay?
Yeah.
I'm not judging the Arizona Cardinals and all that other stuff. I judged him when he was given a chance. He showed that he can really do it. So that's the end of that. Let's move on.
Yeah, cool. Elway was 5-6 his last year, so you were right. If they won the band game,
3-5 in conference.
3-5 in conference, but yes, you were right. If they won the band game, he would have got to go to a bowl game, and they didn't. So good memory by you.
I do want to go back into something that we were talking about before because it involves a player that your dad played with, and Lawrence Taylor. One of the questions we were answering earlier was to Chris was if you could create the perfect pass rusher, what would he look like? What's his size? What's his skill set? Your son said 6'3", maybe 270 right now in today's game. Lawrence Taylor was 6'3", 235 when he was drafted,
no,
but then
he
got.
I told you he'd say this. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Beefed up after that, but I mean, is that If you're looking at creating the ideal pass rusher, was it really just Lawrence Taylor? Was it all about what he brought?
Yeah, Dad, just so you know, I said the ideal pass rusher to me, it looks a little bit like a Lawrence Taylor, a Khalil Mack. That's the perfect picture of the guy I have in my mind.
Yeah, I agree with that, unless you're talking about the other end of that spectrum. You know, the tall, really long guy who still has enough speed and all those things to reach around whatever.
Right.
You know, I'm just trying to think of a good example.
Simeon Rice.
Simeon Rice, of course, was a great example for that.
Jason Taylor.
But, you know, what Christopher's explaining, they have speed and power, one, because of their size. And, you know, size sometimes, a lot of times, is a detriment, you know, to what you do. You know, you know, in the NFL, we see it all the time. You can be too tall to play quarterback. You can be too tall to be a left tackle, whatever. Right. Even though we got a guy, I think Colton Miller was 6 foot. Was he 6'9"?
Yeah, he was. But, you're
actually,
right.
I thought he played pretty well last year.
Right.
But so that can be a detriment. But Lawrence Taylor and, you know, Khalil Mack's a little different. He doesn't have near the speed that Lawrence. Lawrence had great speed right from the start. And the thing about him is he was the most pliable athlete. And you know what I mean by that? He could bend and contort and do whatever and never slow down. Right. He could have run a 40-yard dash, I think, dragging his left hand on the ground and still ran 4.5.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he could just bend that way. And that's what made him so great. And the other thing is, for all of his troubles and all that, he was an unbelievable competitor. And he never, you know, for a guy that never trained and did nothing or whatever, I said to him, I'd see him about once or twice during the off-season program. Yeah. He would come down and go, "Oh, man, what y'all doing lifting all those dumb weights? I'm going to go out and play golf," or whatever. But for a guy that he just conditioned to play football, he could do it from start to finish. I don't know if you would know better than me, Christopher, did he ever take breaks and sit out a series and stuff like that?
It's really rare. Really rare.
I don't remember him doing it, except my last year, Dan Reeves would sit him down every once in a while for lots of reasons.
I feel like there was maybe a few years there in the early 84, 85 where Andy Hedden might have got in the game a little bit and they might have given him a rest here and there, but it wasn't very often.
Well, yeah, you know why they would do that? Because Andy Hedden probably would have started on 28 teams in the NFL as an outside linebacker. How about the hit he had against the Dallas Cowboys? He runs over the quarterback, fumble, and I can't remember who picked it up, maybe him, and they ran about 90 yards for a touchdown. This is a guy. Hey, we had 8 linebackers. They all were starters. That's why Bill Belichick, to this day, if you start talking about linebackers, he'll bring up those giant teams with the depth, but, of course, the incredible talent. And I loved it this year. What'd they say? Oh, they were playing.
They're playing Khalil Mack, and he goes, "This is Lawrence Taylor we're talking about. This is Lawrence Taylor we're talking about." So, yeah, he let everybody know where he thinks Lawrence Taylor deserves to be in that conversation. Other than that, I got to ask you this, because the producer in my ear is asking me, and I want to ask you this. We haven't talked about Reggie White as far as great pass rushers. Why don't you just tell everybody what it was like having to play him twice a year, every year? And he did sack you more than any other quarterback he sacked throughout his career.
Oh, yeah. You know, listen, and I would say probably 3/4 of those sacks, he would have got a penalty thrown on him, because Reggie was the master of sacking you and falling on you.
Right, dead body weight.
Man, he would pin your arms and take you down and lift them up on the way down, and it was... Hey, he took me down. He took me down in a game we were winning at Giant Stadium in '88.
Yep.
And it was right out of the book. It's one of the reasons why they put the rule in, because he was knocking quarterbacks out right and left.
Right.
But Reggie White, it was a different time. Buddy Ryan had a defense that still people could, look, it had great talent. My God, they had great talent in Chicago and Philadelphia. But the defense was unique still, that bare front.
Yep.
And so Reggie White, basically, no matter what you did, he was going to be one-on-one with somebody every play.
Right.
And Bart Oates, just thinking, Bart and I laugh about it. I saw him not long ago. We were laughing. He goes, I'm playing center, and they line up Reggie White against me. And he can go straight over me. He can go right or left. And he goes, I have no chance. And he goes, most of the time he just ran me over because I was so worried about a rip move, move either way.
Right.
And I just go, gosh, you're right, Bart. We would single you up all the time. And here was our protection scheme for the week. I'm back there with the Eagles.
Right.
Okay, men, here's what we're going to do. We want big on big. And if there's one free guy, wherever Reggie lines up, go look for him. And that was it.
That's great.
And, of course, what really ruined that, too, is what?
What? Well, I don't even know. What?
Well, they drafted this guy from Miami.
Yeah, Jerome Brown. I had a feeling you were going to say that.
And so Bill Parcells says to me, Simms, our life is going to change here in a couple of days. I go, I'm thinking, what? You and me, what happened? And he goes, the draft. I said, well, what's the big deal? Man, these Detroit Lions, they're going to screw us. They're going to draft, I forgot who it is,
right.
A linebacker, I think, from UCLA or a safety, something like that. He goes, the Eagles are going to get Jerome Brown. I go, oh, is he as good as they say? He goes, he's better than Reggie White. I just went, oh, my God. Twice a year on turf. It was great. It was a great time. Reggie would hit you, knock me down. Jerome Brown would be with him, and they would pick me up, slap me on the butt, and look at me go, come on now, hang in there. You can do it. Hang in there. And, and I thought, are they making fun of me, or are they giving me some credit for hanging in here and taking this beating that they're giving to you? So
right.
It was pretty amazing. But Reggie White, besides Lawrence Taylor, to me, is the greatest defensive player in history.
Right.
I really mean that. He could have been, if he just wouldn't have got so big, he'd have been a running back in the NFL.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a freak of nature.
He was really way ahead of his time, which there's many players that are. You look back at the Minnesota, some of those defensive linemen, even the Steelers. So they just had guys that were like 10 years ahead of what everybody else was in the NFL physically.
Right.
So.
Right.
And we got any other questions?
No, that was it, man. You the man.
That's it?
That's
it. We have a few more.
We got more. I mean, you want to hang around? You want one more?
Yeah, give me something good.
Okay,
well, go ahead.
You know I'm coming on. Give me something.
All right.
Give me something good to work with here.
Okay, I got. Well, there's one about coaches who could get the axe this season.
No, he doesn't.
I'm just saying. Okay, well, whatever. All right.
Where did we leave off? Ask
good,
the next question.
Okay,
what was the next one?
The next one was about the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Okay,
actually.
let's ask.
The Graham of Cam was asking about why don't the Jags get more creative with their defensive schemes given the personnel they have.
Ooh.
So he's a little upset that the Jaguars, because they are so good, you will often compliment them, Chris, but he thinks they should be better. They should get more creative because of all the great talent they have.
Go ahead, Big Phil.
Who asked this question?
The Graham of Cam.
The Graham of Cam.
The Graham of Cam. You know what? Graham of Cam, you're smart.
Oh.
And I love what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Listen, you take talent and give them something that's creative, and you get greatness.
And then you become the 85 Bears or teams
that's
like
right.
Right.
You know, the New England isn't sitting up there just going, we're going to get in one formation and run this every play.
Right.
They're giving you 9,000 different looks and everything, and just like any really great team is going to do on either side of the ball.
But then you get some people that go, our players are better than your players. We're just going to line up and we're just going to beat you. We're not going to. We don't need to out.
It's a dangerous way to live that way.
We don't need to outthink you. We just need to line up our guys against your guys.
And you know what? That's a great point. But it is the NFL and the great Jaguar defense and their great team and all that, what they do last year.
Yeah.
And it really was on both sides of the ball. There's many reasons. But the defense gets worn out because of the offense, whatever. So that'll change.
Right.
They're going to have a better system. And, of course, Nick Foles is going to help them. He gets rid of the ball. He's an accurate thrower. They'll be able to hit guys that were open down the field, things like that. That's going to change. But I don't care. When you have a talent, exploit it and make it better.
Yes.
That's what coaches have to do. And yes, I look at certain teams. I was looking at something as I was watching all these tapes about trying to watch quarterbacks. I'm watching San Francisco, Jackson. It was amazing. I think about it. San Francisco, Jacksonville, Atlanta, all giving up these big plays. And I just went, yeah, okay, everybody knows how to beat it. Even no matter you get this great talent, when they know your system inside out, which everybody does, and they know the weaknesses, they're going to catch you with them.
Yes.
And what's amazing, they get beat by the same concepts.
All the time.
Not every week, but just about every week.
Right.
and because somebody gives it a different look, and it's just so be creative. Creativity with talent, and like I said, that's when you get greatness.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point you make. Yeah, it's the Seattle scheme. Seattle was awesome. Their coaches went everywhere, and there's 7 or 8 defenses in football that run that scheme now.
Yeah, no. Well, the Chargers are another one.
Right.
They got some really good talent, but they too, even though they got beat up and they had to play a different defense a little and all that at the end of the year last year, whatever. Still, just not enough. And the systems in the NFL on the offensive side are too good. They have more plays, and the rules, of course, all that stuff. I think that's another reason, no matter what your talent level is, you got to be creative.
Yeah, that's right. I agree with him there. Jacksonville's going to get away with it against some of the lower class teams in the NFL. It's not going to matter. You're right. They're going to walk on the field, Ahmed, and they're going to be the better team, and they're going to say, screw you. This is what we do. Doesn't matter. We're better. That's great. But the goal is not to win those games. The goal is to be able to beat New England in New England in the AFC Championship game or whatever it may be, to where if you think you're going to line up in the same defense all game long, I don't give a damn if you got 11 all-pros out there. If you're going to do the same thing all game long, Belichick, Brady, McDaniels, they're going to pick it apart eventually.
Right.
And we've seen that, whether it was the AFC Championship game, it was 20-10 in the fourth quarter, they got in the group. Or the many times New England played against the same defensive scheme, Seattle in the Super Bowl, they did it. Brady picked them apart. Oh, he played Atlanta, Seattle defensive scheme in the Super Bowl. Bam, he picked it apart because it's just the same thing over and over, and the quarterback can walk to the line of scrimmage and go, oh, okay, they're in this defense. Oh, I know their rules here. They're going to have trouble stopping this part of our play right here, and then they get attacked. As long as you have a good quarterback who's smart and throws the ball accurately and makes good decisions, it's just too easy to pick apart.
Ahmed, he made a great point. What happens is you can only overrun the other side for so long.
Sure.
And sooner or later, you get used to it, you adapt to their talent, and they tire out a little bit.
Yeah.
And you think about that Seattle-New England game. Tom Brady's first 8 passes or whatever, I don't think they went past the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Because they were just going, let's make them run a little, let's get them side to side, let's tire them out, get our guys in a groove, and, whatever. And then slowly, the same with Atlanta. Let's keep going. Atlanta, I was there sitting in the stands screaming, call a timeout. Because, my son was on the team practice squad, and so he's there on the sideline. And Atlanta, there's a rule. There's no rule that says you can't call a timeout to rest your defense.
I know.
And I thought that was one really big error in that game. Atlanta should have used the timeout, maybe 2.
At the end of in overtime or the end of regulation.
Yeah, both times.
Right.
Especially in overtime. In overtime, it looked like, gosh, if there was a betting window next to me, I would have bet a lot of money for real that New England was going to walk down the field and score a touchdown.
Yeah, right. All right, big guy, you're the man.
Well, you guys, you were okay today.
Oh, thanks. Appreciate
we
that.
need to be more creative with you so we can try to bring some more talent out.
Okay.
That's what we strive. We strive for okay. If we're above that, then we're pretty happy. So.
Thank you.
I hear you. So, hey, that sounds like my life. Okay. All right, guys. Look, have a great day.
All right, Dad. We'll see you, man.
See you.
Be good.
Phil. It was good stuff as always from your dad. I think we got time for one more.
Okay.
You ready for one more here?
Cool. Yep.
I
knew that would go long. I knew first of all some of the questions we asked, and once you get on Reggie White and Lawrence Taylor with my dad,
it was great.
It's not going to end. And I wanted him to say, because he said this before many times, the Eagles teams he played at the end of the 80s with Jerome Brown and Clyde Simmons and Reggie White and all the great players, he has said publicly that those defenses were better than the 85 Bears. Now, that's a bold statement.
Wow.
I know, but he does. He stood by that before. I know, but it was, of course, extremely talented.
And hearing Reggie White sacking you, pinning your arms back and falling with his full weight, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
I'm pretty sure, and I mean, Dad has been told by people in the league that he was certainly one of the reasons Reggie White dead fishing my dad. That's what they call it, the dead fish rule, where you kind of you pick the quarterback up and let all your weight fall on the quarterback. And the dad's talking about a 1988 game. They're playing the Eagles at home, and he separated his shoulder on the turf field because Reggie crushed him, and that was it for that game.
I would not survive. I feel like I would
I'm amazed
survive.
sometimes with my dad that he's still in one piece and can talk and shoot hoops or do anything, because he played in the most brutal era of football with no rules of the quarterbacks, and then they played played on AstroTurf, which I don't even know.
Concrete with a little bit of
it's a hard carpet.
padding.
I don't even know what it is. Right.
CJ East says, longtime homie here, Simms.
What up, homie?
Been listening to your stuff for about 5 years now.
Thank you,
question,
CJ.
Where is Blake Bortles ranked right now in your top 70? Last time I heard, he was in the 30s.
It's close. Okay, so for this is a good time to drop this. Okay. I'm going to be doing the Simms quarterback power rankings, the Simms 40, something like that.
Top
it's coming
40.
up soon. Yeah, I think it's going to come to top 40.
Will he be in the top 40?
It's going to be very close.
Ooh.
There was a point early last year, the way he played early on, I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to be a jerk. I said, Blake Bortles, he's definitely moved up the rankings. Now, the 30s, I'm not sure if I can put him there. He's on my long list of players. Like, I have already started the formation of this list, and I have about 45 quarterbacks written down to get into that 40. And I'm not sure if he's going to make the list or not.
Right.
So you'll have to tune in to see.
Okay.
I'm going to say most likely no, he will not.
You don't think he'll be in the top 40?
I don't know, especially with some of the current crop of quarterbacks that came in. We have some guys there that I think are going to take a few spots from the veterans.
Oh, okay. So how many of the...
I can't leave some of these first-round, quarterbacks and some of these other guys off the table. I don't care that they haven't played yet.
Daniel Jones?
I put Patrick Mahomes on the top 30 quarterbacks in football the year before he started. Thank God I did, because I just said, damn, he's got talent, and at the very least, he's better than some of these back-end or backup quarterbacks or some of these low-level starters. So I'm going to put some of these guys up there.
Off the top of your head, how many do you think make it in that just got drafted into your top 40?
Well, I'm going to say, I'm going to say that the 3 first-rounders I think are definitely going to make it, and I'm going to probably put Drew Lock in there. The question is, does a Jarrett Stidham or somebody like that who get drafted in the mid-rounds make it? I will think about it. I'm not going to. Okay. I'm not going to be bad. I don't care. I'm going to do my true evaluation and see.
You don't care what anyone says?
I don't really care what anyone says, no.
Including Dan Marino, who you called dumb earlier today.
I did not call him dumb. Damn it. I knew I was going to get in trouble for that damn comment.
On your own podcast, right?
Yes.
You don't even have to wait for other people to react to it.
Simms ruining his own career on his own podcast.
And finally, Frederick Leno, who do you think will win the UEFA Champions League? Liverpool or Tottenham?
I'm rooting for Liverpool. I don't know why. I don't know enough about Tottenham. Sorry. I'm just rooting for Liverpool.
I told you. A month ago, I became a lifelong fan.
You said that.
Tottenham.
You did. But I don't know whether to believe everything that comes out of your mouth, because your art can be very dry and sarcastic, too. And you could say it with a very straight face to where I go, is he serious? Or is he with me?
For the last 3 weeks, I've been all in on Tottenham.
Rooting for Liverpool.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I am. And I'm a little bad with my soccer knowledge right now. It's a new job, NBC. I got a lot of stuff going on. I haven't paid attention to soccer.
Like the third string lineman on every single NFL team.
Right.
You can't know that.
I can't know them all. Right. And I'm busy calling Dan Marino dumb. So.
Okay, so we got that. We got the.
Is LeBron own part of Liverpool? Is it Liverpool or he owns part of? Or?
I know the Red Sox own, but I don't know if it's LeBron that owns.
I thought LeBron was in on one of them.
It is, okay. It is. Yeah,
good.
LeBron does own. There's a lot of American interest in Liverpool.
Yes,
there is, apparently. In a lot of the English Premier League teams, which, by the way, Championship Sunday for the Premier League, you have Liverpool and Manchester City both playing 10 Eastern.
Yep.
Everyone's playing at 10 Eastern, but it's head-to-head. They're separated by just a point right now.
Yeah.
Liverpool has 1 loss all Premier League season.
That's amazing.
And they might not win.
Yeah,
if they both win, if Manchester City wins and Liverpool wins, then Manchester City wins again.
And I know, like, Liverpool hasn't won it in like forever. How long are we talking?
They've never won the Premier League.
They've never won the Premier League
since it's been the Premier League. It's been a while, but they've never won. They've won the top division before. Yeah. But since they called it the Premier League, they've never won it.
Gotcha. Okay, so that's cool. All right, Man City's had enough success lately. I'm rooting for Liverpool to win that
last
too.
Year, the upstart team. I
got that. I'm all for that. Okay, cool.
And it's Mother's Day. Is it this weekend?
It's Sunday. I know. Okay. Yep. I don't know. I got to figure it out too. I got to get on my game here.
We had a lot more in the AMA.
We'll get to it.
We'll save them.
We're going to get to it. It's the off season, so there's not going to be a lot of news all the time. So we're going to visit the fans and, again, continue to send in questions. I don't give a damn how ridiculous they are either. Yeah. I like the fun ones. I really do.
That one made me uncomfortable.
It was a little uncomfortable. I mean, yes. murder, marry, and, having sex with someone, that's a tough decision, okay? But we got it done somehow.
We did. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy the weekend.
Yeah, you too, dude. All right, Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. You know where to find me. If you want to watch us, me, Ahmed Fareed, youtube.com/NBC Sports. Peace out, homies. Have a good one. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned Podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.